Welcome, everyone, to the 14th episode of the Nintendo Roundtable podcast. To reiterate what I led on with last month's episode, it's been an interesting summer so far in the gaming world, but as the summer comes to an end, it seems that we're now in the full swing of what feels like the new E3 season, maybe? Something like that. So, this past month, we got some big presentations from Pokemon, Nintendo, Capcom, Sony, just to name a few, and not to mention the fact that TGS is still going on right now as we're recording this. So, anyway, we're not going to be covering all of those things, as you can tell, but we're going to be discussing is that ever so elusive Nintendo Direct that just dropped this past week, because it was a big one. And not a mini this time around, I will add, which I was personally very happy to see. I love the chunky 40-minute boys. Ugh, just my favorite. Anyway, we have all of this as well as some interesting recent releases to talk about during today's episode. But before we do, thank you for laughing at that, by the way. I write this just for my own entertainment, but I'm glad that you guys think that's funny.
Nope.
We have some stuff, right?
Nope.
To summarize, we have some stuff to talk about in today's episode. Before we do, I want to take this moment, as we always do, to go around the table here and have everyone say hello, as well as introduce one of the new voices here at the Roundtable this month. So, starting with you, HeyRaguio, tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do around the internet.
Hi, that's me. Hi, I'm Luis. I go by Raguio on the internet. I have a YouTube channel, but I mainly also edit for other content creators, particularly Ant Dude. And yeah, that's it.
Cool. Awesome. Very short and sweet. I like it. All right. So we've also got my good friend Don, aka Nintendaan. How are you, Don?
I'm good. Just playing a bunch of Splatoon.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yes. God, seriously, me too. Oh my God, I cannot put it down. David, you as well have joined us for the first time in a few months. How are you?
Yes, good to be back. Good to be back on the round table. How's it going? My name is David from DaveedRDW here. And I also am playing a lot of Splatoon. Some would say I'm playing it right now. Or am I? Ooh.
Oh my God. Jesus. Sense a common thread going on in this chat room right now.
Yes.
HMK, how's it going, dude? Again, a couple of months since the last time you were here, but good to have you back. How are you?
Are we cracking a cold one?
Cracking open a 40? What's going on?
I'm doing amazing for all intents and purposes, as you guys may know. I do a lot of Legend of Zelda stuff. I do a lot of Kingdom Hearts stuff. That's me, HMK, and also a lot of Smash stuff. And I'm really happy to be back here to talk with y'all. And yes, I'm like the rest of everyone here. I've been playing a lot of Splatoon 3 lately, but yeah.
Heck yeah. And
Just took
correct
a
me if
cold
I'm
one out
wrong.
the cooler right there.
Weren't you on like a billboard or something in the last time you were here?
Yeah. Like a couple of weeks ago, I was on a billboard in New York with a couple other content creators that was put together by the amazing Fifi, and I thank her so much for like allowing me to be featured there. And yeah, it was crazy. You know, like small story, because I know we gotta like keep going on. A lot of people thought I was in New York, and I'm like, nah, man, I'm home. Like,
Yeah.
Wow, Mr.
So
Mr. Rockefeller, New York.
Yeah, look at this, Mr. Big Guy. Okay. Thank you for joining us, HMK.
of course.
So Sam is also here as well.
Yeah.
Now,
Hi.
I have a question here as we lead into your little intro. Are you playing Splatoon right now?
No, I listened. I had to be told,
Okay.
but I listened and I put my Switch on sleep mode. I'm not playing it right now.
All right, I'll take your word for it. How are you doing?
I'm good. Thanks for having me.
Okay. Awesome. Great. Good to hear it. Tris as well.
Yeah.
How are you
ahoy.
doing today?
I'm doing pretty well. I've been busy since that Nintendo Direct. I'm sure we'll talk about it at length when we get to it, but I've basically been in Zelda hell for the last week.
Yeah, I was going to say, between that and Mario Kart, like, you're probably working overtime over there or something.
That's a mood.
Good to know others understand that.
Yeah. Well, good. I'm glad to have you here. And then lastly, you're always last because your name starts with a Y.
I
But
know, I know.
we've also
if
got-
we used my first name, it would start with a B. I'd be closer to the top of the list. But yes,
But not the top, because I'm an A, all right?
Yeah, I
Let's not
can't
get
beat
ahead of
you.
ourselves.
I can't beat that.
Yoshiller, how are you doing? Welcome back to the Roundtable. Hope you're having a good one.
Yeah, my life has been all sorts of up and down as of late, but I am happy to be here. I am a video editor, for those that don't know. I edit stuff for my own channel, and I edit for a fair share of other content creators on social media as well. And I've been traveling a lot as of late, and my travels have been very fun. And I am hopefully not traveling for a little bit, but if I do travel some more, I mean, that's fine too. We shall see.
Yeah, you were all over the place. Like, one of the places I was jealous of you went was Japan, right? How was that?
That was a fantastic trip. I had a very, very good time, and it would take too long to explain all the reasons why. But that was one of the best trips I ever took.
There's a fantastic vlog on Yoshiller's channel.
There is. If you want to see my trip to Japan, there's a vlog over
Yeah.
on my channel, and then also I was at PAX West. There's a vlog of that over on my channel. Yeah, thank you.
I've just
Thank
been
you.
living
Yeah, I gotta watch
vicariously
that one.
through your
That
show.
sounds good.
Was that the first time you went to Japan?
That's the second time I went to Japan.
Oh, snap.
It
Ooh.
must be nice.
Why did I think
Hey, you
that
were
you
there
had been so
for
much more?
what is it? Evo Japan.
The first time I went to Japan was for Evo Japan. This year, 2022, I was there for Bit Summit. I was there for 2 weeks.
That's
this
why
time.
it's like the first time.
Oh,
That was
yeah, okay,
fun.
yeah. I was there for a Japanese indie game event, and it was awesome. And I was so inspired being there, and it was very, very fun.
That's really cool.
So cool.
Yeah. Well, perfect. So, as I said earlier, thank you all for joining me for this month's episode, everybody. So, how about that direct, huh? I know for a fact, most of us have been clamoring for this moment to finally come for months now, and some of it actually has been on this very podcast. So, this past week, we got about 40 minutes worth of news headlines for Switch titles coming this winter and beyond. Now, I'm going to be honest, I didn't really jot down too many notes for myself here, as I kind of want it to be a more candid discussion on my part, but I want to get everyone's general thoughts on the presentation as well as favorite announcements from it. So, David, what did you think? Give us your general thoughts on this latest Direct, and what do you think was your big standout sort of takeaway from the whole thing?
All right. Let me say up top that with Nintendo fans, when it comes to Nintendo Directs, I'd say that the vibe has changed since Smash Ultimate has completed, right? It's like there's no longer like what's this specific thing gonna be? Like we all anticipate the specific thing, right? So now it's like there are certain, I guess, like big things people want to see, and I think the Tears of the Kingdom name drop and also announce release date, and then also for me, Pikmin 4 being a thing were like the big highlights. There was a whole bunch of other things where it's like, oh, good for Nintendo Switch for getting these ports, and also like we joke about the farm stuff. I mean, it was a good enough direct. I mean, the biggest news was that Zelda exists, so I'm happy about that. I don't need every direct to be back to back to back games I'm gonna buy. So, yeah, it was a good enough direct for me, I'd say.
Cool. And you say like your standout was probably Zelda?
Yeah, Zelda and Pikmin 4 for sure. So excited for
Okay.
Pikmin 4.
Why do I get the impression that other people are going to say the same thing you did?
Maybe not. Maybe not so.
Maybe.
Or maybe not. I don't
Maybe
know.
not.
Maybe Sam
Maybe.
has a different opinion. Who knows?
Maybe. You want me to give it?
Yeah, let's hear it.
Well, I was really happy with the direct overall. I let the internet hype me up. I shouldn't have done it, but I let the internet hype me up a little bit about the possibility of finally seeing a Wind Waker Twilight Princess HD port. Even though I've been asking for it for 3 years, and I gave up
God.
last year, and I was like, I'm not going to hope for this anymore because I don't think it's going to come for a long time. And then people were just because people were talking about it, I was like, oh, I'll get excited over it. And now my heart has been crushed. Although I wasn't honestly expecting to see our Tears of the Kingdom reveal. So I was really happy about that. I would
Yeah.
also say, as a farming sim fan, I was eating it up. I'm pretty happy with it's my second favorite Harvest Moon game is A Wonderful Life. So getting a port of that is really exciting.
That
I'm
one is
really
so
excited
good.
for Harvestella. Fire Emblem news was exciting, but I also felt like it was bound to come sooner rather than later, and nothing shown in it like excited me more than just thinking about it in my head would have excited me. Like, I'm excited for the game, but nothing that was shown except maybe the stands, the like little ghosty Fire Emblem people coming in.
I
with
love
you.
that everyone's calling them that.
Sam, you're not excited about toothpaste?
No, I actually I thought the character designs were really cute. I don't know.
I just love the memes about the toothpaste. Sorry, continue.
I know, I get it. But, and Pikmin 4, I also think, like, yeah, I'm really excited that it exists, but I'm also not surprised that it exists, and they didn't show enough for me to be like, heck yeah, Pikmin 4. So, like, I'm always hesitant to get excited because I know how these things go, and it could come out in a year, or it could come out in 3 years. So I will just hold that excitement pending. But for now, I'm excited about the Tears of the Kingdom reveal and all of my farming sims.
Nice.
So you're telling me that Miyamoto's Pikmin shirt didn't get you excited for Pikmin 4 like it should have?
Well, I did enjoy, like, I was still kind of laughing over his long spiel about Pikmin Bloom.
Oh my gosh.
Like, just like,
He tried.
please,
so
he
long.
tried.
you should know that this game exists. It's really fun. You should play it. Yeah, he tried. Oh, and the whole thing where he was like talking about Mario for a minute, and then so Pikmin.
Yeah, what the heck was that?
That made me so upset.
That was my one fear going into this direct. I kind of was going to this direct, just not basically taking everyone always says on the internet with like just the biggest grain of salt.
Yeah.
But my one fear was that we were finally gonna hear Chris Pratt Mario. We have been spared for now. So so that was like the one I was like, oh, thank goodness.
Yeah, I'm actually glad that I don't know if they will end up showing it in a direct, but I kind of hope they don't, because when they do, it's going to overshadow everything else.
That is true.
That's
Whether
very
it's
true.
negative or
Yeah.
positive or neutral, like that's what everyone's going to want to talk about. So
That is very true, actually.
Or-
it's like a way bigger general appeal.
Or Jack Black Spouser is so good that it just cancels out.
You know what? True. My ticket was sold when that was announced
Yeah.
already. Well, Raguio, what about you? What is your like general thoughts and standout announcements?
So honestly, it was good. It was good. It was not the most mind blowing one, but I feel like there was a little bit there was kind of like a little bit for everyone. I think one of the more interesting ones that I saw was the like Fatal Frame. It's like a Wii
yes.
Japan only that's getting ported here. So I'm always down for that. That's always cool for me to see. There was also Octopath Traveler 2, which I'm excited to see how they can improve on the first one, which I did enjoy, but I had the same gripe with it that everyone else did, where like once you complete someone's story, they just kind of take a backseat and then interact with the party. So I'm hoping they somehow get to fix that.
Yeah.
The one I was especially excited about is actually Theater Rhythm, like the Final Fantasy
yeah,
rhythm game. 'Cause
really?
I am all for those. I really, really like those. So just the fact that I get another one on the Switch that's gonna have way more music, I am extremely down with that.
Yeah, there's like 500 songs or something, right?
Yeah. And
Yet
DLC.
no Kingdom Hearts DLC. What the heck?
And that Final Fantasy rhythm game will be the closest to getting Final Fantasy 14 on the Switch.
Yeah.
True.
I think my other big highlight of it was what's it called? It's called like Rain Dance, Raincoat.
Raincoat.
That's
Oh,
what
that game
the-
looks dope.
Yeah, the one that's been made by the team that made.
Danganronpa team.
Yeah, that's the one. That looks
Oh,
really
yeah.
cool. So I
It's
am
funny.
excited to play that. I'm
Funny
very
'cause,
excited
like,
to play that.
I'm not even a fan of Danganronpa like that, but I love the art style. But I also really like detective type games like Touch
Yeah.
Detective,
Yeah, I
Ghost
love
Trick,
that.
stuff like that.
Into it.
So I'm all over Raincoat.
Mhm. I
Yeah, that
love
makes
that.
sense.
If I were to say actually what was the hypest thing I saw this week, it was not on a direct. It was the fact that the Battle Network collection has online play confirmed. But again, that's not part of the direct. I'm just happy that that's happening.
It's part of the pseudo E3 week.
Yeah.
But
Well, it was announced in a direct. So So I would say it still counts.
Right. Okay. That's you. Wow.
I'm eating.
I
I'm
knew
eating
you were
good,
going to
is
bring
what
that
I'm
up at
saying.
some point, but I
Yeah.
didn't think that would be your
Quickly.
standout, like
That is-
biggest one.
That is
That's
my
crazy.
standout. That's Pikmin 4 is really no. Pikmin 4 is probably my second one.
Even more than Zelda?
Well, the thing is like we saw the name and we saw like a little bit more, but it was still kind of. It was just like I just wanted to see more, which I guess is a good thing.
Yeah,
Like, it's
no.
a good problem to have.
Yeah, I get that.
But yeah, I just wanted to see just a little bit more. That's all I wanted to see.
Yeah. Well, if we had seen a little bit more, I think Tris would have not been available for the next month
That is
or
true.
something.
That is very true.
Speaking of Tris, thoughts, general direct thoughts. What was your standout? Let's hear all the things.
So obviously, I gotta get this out of the way of Zelda because I love that we finally know anything about this game, which is great.
Seriously.
But despite that, it's not actually my standout. It's what I expected going into this to see. I expected we finally learn the name and a release date, and they didn't give. Well, they gave stuff beyond that I'm doing a video on, but there wasn't like a ton new there that like made me really hyped for the game specifically. Nothing beyond what I already was. But my actual standout announcement of it all was Kirby's Return to Dreamland's
Yes!
Deluxe.
Sorry.
I'm very excited for that too.
That was such a surprise port.
I was so shocked by that. But I love Kirby games. Like, I've not played a bad Kirby game. And I got into the series like really late. Like my first Kirby game was a few months before Planet Robobot came out. And I first played Return to Dreamland 5 years ago with like a bunch of my friends on like back in my Let's Play channel days. So I'm like really nostalgic for that title, and seeing that that's coming out and like less than what is it, like February? Coming out in February. I'm pretty excited about that one. So that definitely is my standout. I already know I'm going to get together with the same group of friends as before. We're going to play through the whole game again. It's going to be really exciting.
Oh, that's wholesome.
Overall on the Direct, I think it was better in retrospect than it was during the actual event itself. Because I think there were a lot of really good announcements here, but the pacing of the Direct as a whole was very all over the place, especially Miyamoto's segment. The Pikmin 4 part was hype. But that whole segment felt like it was added in later and just padded
Pikmin
out
Bloom
the whole
promo.
thing.
Not the
Yeah.
Pikmin Bloom.
Yeah, poor Pikmin Bloom. Sorry, that felt way off.
It's. I mean, we were talking about this. I don't know who with. I think it was Don or Sam or something. But we were talking about this recently. It's not like they were announcing anything new for the game either, which
No.
They were
like
just
so
was
weird.
so
trying to get people
confusing.
to download it.
To me,
just desperate.
to me, I'll explain my thoughts. But when I would talk about it with Alec, I felt it. So Nintendo Directs are meant for marketing, right? Like it's their marketing opportunity. But I felt it was the most blatant marketing they've ever done in any of these presentations. 2.5 minutes.
Yeah, that's
It really
probably
was.
true.
In the grand scheme,
Yeah,
it's
you're
like-
probably right.
it's pretty smart.
Here's the thing: Pikmin Bloom is a passive game. It's not like you can actively play it like with a Pokemon Go. You activate it and put it back into your pocket. Why did it need 2.5 minutes to explain that?
I mean, I have the simple answer for you. They wanted to use Miyamoto's powers as an influencer. That's all it boils down to.
Oh my god! All the executives are becoming influencers.
I think maybe they
Miyamoto
were
the influencer.
hoping. Yeah, I think maybe they were hoping it would. And you know what? I bet you they saw this with Animal Crossing when New Horizons was around the corner. Gameplay in Pocket Camp picked up. And I bet you they were hoping that just the announcement of Pikmin 4 would be enough to reinvigorate. And so they thought at the same time getting the reminder out about the game, it can't hurt. Although it was way longer than it needed to be. It could have been a 30-second.
Yeah, it's similar
Okay.
energy to what Pokemon
Yeah.
Company does when they like talk about their mobile games that have been around for years before they
Yeah.
announce a new Pokemon main game trailer.
Yeah.
They like
Only
snuggle
there
up
were
to
no
you.
updates
So
in the actual
Pokemon-
mobile game, like we said.
Pokemon Cafe.
Okay, but
mix.
at least with those, there are actual updates to show. Like with Remix, there's actually new stages.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, this was just stating, yeah, I did a round trip of Universal. Good for you.
They should have.
And it's
Don
been
was
out.
so peeved.
It's also
Yeah,
been out
clearly.
since like October last year. Like,
Yeah.
the game came out 6 months ago. I'd kind of get it because there wasn't a direct 6 months ago, but it's been out for
It
almost a
must-
year.
It must not be doing well. But what they should have done is they should have put Miyamoto's Pikmin shirt on a Pikmin that you can get like this week.
Dude, no, that would have been so cool.
That would.
I think what would have been cooler is a Pikmin with a shirt that has Miyamoto's face on it.
Yes.
Oh my
that
god,
would be
wait.
cool.
I would actually, yeah.
See, that's
no,
what I'm talking
I'd download
about.
it again.
You're welcome,
exclusive.
Nintendo.
Yeah, you're welcome, seriously. What the heck? That's a brilliant idea.
Yeah.
I would wear that in real life. That's how
Me
great
too.
that
We
is.
can make this. We'll plan on it.
Yeah. What's stopping us?
Nothing.
There we go. So, anyway, Don, let's hear your full thoughts. Now I'm interested, considering the whole Pikmin reaction. What did you think of the direct as a whole, and what was your like big standout thing? That obviously wasn't Pikmin.
No. Like similar to Tris, I thought the presentation style felt a bit over the place. But looking at the actual list, I'm pretty happy with the overall set of announcements. Let's not talk about that Pikmin Bloom segment ever again. I would say that some stuff felt a bit underplayed. Like Pikmin 4 was a cool announcement, but it was literally a teaser of 30 seconds and then one additional screenshot. I'm like, so Miyamoto teased this in an interview with Eurogamer back in 2016. It's like, yeah, we're working on it. And then it kept quiet, and Miyamoto said a few years later, yeah, we're still working on it. And then it got announced officially in 2022, and they're like, yeah, so here's a teaser of 30 seconds. Like, really?
It was just like a Bulborb or something.
It's like
It was a Bulborb.
it's been 6 years, and that's what you have to show.
It was a Bulborb and then 4 screenshots that were shared later, and that's it.
It was more than we got.
Yeah.
That's
after
it.
Prime
Yeah,
4.
that's it. Yeah.
That is,
Oh, yeah.
that is very extremely true.
Holy
Damn.
but like talking about actual announcements though, like for me, obviously Fire Emblem Engage is for me the big one because I'm a big Fire Emblem mark. And it seems like they're taking a parallel of like classic Fire Emblem stories, but putting it in this completely different setting. I think like the art design of it, like let's not talk particularly about the main character, but the art design in general, looks actually like really striking and really beautiful. Because with Three Houses, I felt like it was at the end, even though it was very like good in its gameplay systems, it felt like certain shades of gray. Like it felt like a very gray game overall, like very moody. And I think I need something that like sparks the interest a little bit more. And I think like Engage in that particular way, like really deliver it for me. And having that out in like 4 months is crazy to me. Like absolutely insane. I'm looking so much forward to playing Engage. It seems to take more like of a cue of like more classic Fire Emblem games in the way it's set up on the maps. But like you can already see where certain elements are going and how they are building with the different mechanics of the emblems, where you can like inherit spirits of like older Fire Emblem characters. I think that sounds like really good to me.
Yeah.
And then, as I don't know who mentioned it before. I'm so sorry. I think it was HeyRaguio. TearRhythm.
Yeah.
Yeah, TearRhythm was like one of my like top 3 announcements. I love the TearRhythm games. Like TearRhythm, Final Fantasy Curtain Call, which was the second game on 3DS, and still one of my most played games ever.
I love you so much.
I bought all the DLC and played it all the way through like 2 or 3 times. And having that 500 song package with also like different Square Enix entities, but also the multiplayer mode from the arcade version, which you can now play online with 4 people pitting against one another. That sounds so flipping cool to me. And like come February, that will be my like go-to game for at least a month, I imagine.
Same, honestly.
And then like my third announcement that I liked the most, I would say, oh God. So maybe I should talk about one thing that really upset me first before I go to my top
Besides
3.
Pikmin Bloom?
To my third. Yeah. I was really upset by Tales of Symphonia Remastered.
Oh.
Oh.
Is it because it's
Like
just like the frame lock?
it's a port of the hard-coded version on PlayStation 2 and not from the GameCube version, which ran 60 FPS.
Yeah, I remember that
But
because
you
that
know
was the
why
one
they
I
did
had.
that.
Why?
Well, they did it because they're stupid.
Because the PS2 version has more content, so they're like, oh, let's do the one that has like the most in it. Like,
does it?
Yeah.
Like what else?
Okay, but there's no excuse still.
The PS2 version
but
has
still
a ton more content than the GameCube version.
Interesting.
You know?
Yeah.
That's like
but still,
like like I not to interject, but I feel like this is a very similar situation because like recently I've been streaming Persona 3 Fest, and I keep asking, and I've never played Persona before, and I keep asking my chat, I'm like, why are they not porting this one and porting Portable? And then they explain all the changes that Portable has over Fest. I'm like, oh yeah, that makes a lot of sense now.
I remember because I played Fest on PS2, and it was a little I liked it a lot, but it was a little rough, mainly on the fact that you cannot control your party, and that was like a big thing that the PSP one did.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, right? Like, Tales of Symphonia is such a beloved game. Why is this just AI upscaled?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It feels
No,
like
no,
more
I
went
get that.
It feels like more went into Tales of Vesperia's remaster a few years back.
Yeah, and that's my point, readers. Like, you can go all out with this. Why aren't you doing it? It's like a beloved game.
Mm-hmm.
And like, I felt like with all their remasters they've done over the last year, I felt weird about each one. Like, Klonoa was like probably the best one of the three. Because it felt like proper Klonoa, even though it looked a bit weird. Pac-Man World Repack is basically building the game from the ground up and introducing a bunch of bugs that shouldn't be there. And now their third option is now, just do it AI upscaled and call it a day. Like, what is your strategy with this? You're doing one every single time differently. What are you gonna do next? Do nothing?
That's what I feel about the like all the remakes that Square Enix makes, because sometimes they'll go the HD 2D route, other times they'll go the pixel remaster route, and then other times they'll just do the Tactics Ogre route. So a lot of times they'll go the Chrono Trigger route. So it really does feel a lot of the time is which option is going to be, and is it gonna be good?
I think so more so with any other company. With Bandai Namco, it feels like they're just spinning a wheel and just landing on the thing that sticks. But I digress. I mean, I could go on further into it. That kind of upset me a bit. I think like the third game, well, not really game. I would say the stuff coming to Nintendo 64 Online.
Yes.
Oh,
Mario
yeah.
Party.
Dude, I
Mario
can't wait for
Party
the 1,
1
2,
through
and
3. That's
3.
crazy.
I'm honestly probably gonna play
Pokemon
those
Stadium 1
on
and
Superstar.
2, 1080 Snowboarding, Sidebug 64, Pilot Wing 64, GoldenEye.
Play all the
1080
bangers.
snowboarding,
Stadium
baby.
Stadium too. Oh my! All bangers. I'm telling you.
All
like all of
bangers.
them.
And also, it's really. Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Playing Stadium 2 with purely rentals will be an interesting experience because I know from my childhood that going for the Gym Leader Castle with rentals only was a nightmare.
Yoshiller,
Isn't it
didn't you say
Yoshiller?
you-
Yeah, Yoshiller.
Dang.
Like how we all were
When-
just
when-
like, wait a minute, we know
Everyone is
someone who dealt
coming
with
for
that.
this man's life.
That
So
took
when's
years off
Pokemon
my
Stadium
life.
2?
I don't know. Do I want to die at 50? I mean, maybe. We'll see.
Yeah, because it will literally take years of your life. Like Stadium 2's Gym Leader Castle with purely rentals really comes down to freaking luck half of the time.
That's how I play
So
the game
I look
growing up.
forward to that absolute nonsense, playing that on my Switch somewhere 2023. Thank you very much for coming to my
It's
TED
okay
Talk.
because the mini games are where it's at. For
That's
Stadium.
true.
Honestly, yeah.
I
No, for me,
really wanna
it's
play
Gym
this
Leader
with you.
Castle, playing with rentals, and having a bad time doing it.
Well, you
Hell
can
yeah.
enjoy that.
I want to play the Lickitung Sushi game.
Actually,
Oh, there you
if
go.
I may
Oh, yeah.
interject, this time around, Gym Leader Castle might actually be easier because you'll have access to save states.
Oh,
is true.
That's
a good
Wait.
point.
N64 has save states?
Yes, it
Mhm.
does.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, okay.
Which means
yeah.
if you want to
Huh.
prepare for... I'm sorry to interject on Don's answer, but with things
Yeah.
like Pokemon Stadium, there were certain battles that, like, if you're using rental Pokemon and your opponent brought a specific Pokemon, you could not win. It was not possible. So if you load a save state like before you get to the Pokemon selection screen, you can keep reloading it
Yeah.
and just hope that your opponent doesn't bring that Pokemon. So.
Yeah, that's 100% right. I'm not sure when that stuff is calculated, but it should be interesting to mess with. That's for sure.
Yeah, you can at least experiment and then figure it out.
And we can actually
Yeah, but-
prove that the AI cheats, because like you can do a save state, pick a move, and see if your opponent will pick the same move if you pick something else.
Dude, just
I-
based
I
off of that
also
one
look
night, I
forward-
totally believe
yeah.
you.
I also look forward to playing like those kind of the old school battles against people online, just in groups of 2. That should be fun. But yeah, overall, I really enjoyed the Direct. Like, there's a lot of stuff that I really enjoy, especially if you look back on it. Like smaller stuff, like also the golf update, get me really excited, even though it's now delayed until winter.
I was sad about that too.
I was sad about that. But overall, like, I'm still having fun with currently the demo of Harvestella and still like playing with other things. And knowing that a lot of stuff that I'm interested in is coming up makes me very excited. So no, I was very happy, even though the presentation at the time felt a bit bland, but the overall game list is pretty good.
I haven't tried the Harvestella demo yet. How is it?
Yeah, I haven't either.
It's honestly, it's really fun.
It all carries
And
over,
it's,
right?
it's basically the first couple of days of the game, and then once you finish the demo, it basically transforms when you buy the full game.
Okay.
I'm excited. That's
Give that a try.
Yeah. Well, Yoshiller, is it safe to say that Kirby was your most standout announcement of the whole Direct? Or?
You know, I mean, Pikmin 4 was the biggest announcement for me, but Kirby was a very pleasant surprise. I just love Kirby games so much.
Yeah.
But also, I've been using my Nintendo Switch as an opportunity to try out franchises that I don't normally play. You know, I didn't really actively play Zelda games before Breath of the Wild. I didn't really play Monster Hunter before Monster Hunter Rise. I didn't really play Animal Crossing before New Horizons. So,
Oh, wow.
I actually think, you know, now that I'm looking at a list of the games from that presentation, I kind of do want to try out Fire Emblem, because that's a pretty major pillar of Nintendo that I'm not really
Ooh.
into. So I think starting with something like Fire Emblem Engage would probably be a good idea. And
Absolutely.
I also think it'd be really funny to buy a game that I know very little about. Like, I didn't really play fitness boxing, and I don't watch JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, but part of me thinks it'd be funny just to buy the fitness boxing JoJo game.
I'm sorry,
and have no idea what's
JoJo?
going on.
Excuse
It's
me.
not even.
It's not JoJo. It's Fist of the North Star.
Oh my god!
this
Oh my
man?
god! Well, I know, right? So wouldn't it be
Guys.
funny if I bought that? So, you know, stuff like that.
Wait, were you being serious, or was this like a joke? Was this? Am I in a bit right
He's
now?
trolling.
I don't know.
Thank
anything.
Lord. Like,
Okay. Oh, it was a bit. Okay. Well, I got
HOK
then.
was like, no.
Yeah, it was
me.
a bit.
See, now
Anyway.
if you ever do a video on it, Yoshiller, you've got to call it JoJo.
JoJo
Just for the
fitness
meme.
boxing JoJo. Yeah,
yo, that's the tech to get like instant engagement, man. All those people like,
Exactly.
you ever seen oh, that's not JoJo.
You ever seen that? You ever seen that TikTok of the guy talking about Goku in Fortnite, and he calls it Kamehameha wave? He calls it the "Call Me Your Mama."
I saw that.
One of my
You gotta
favorite
do that. You
videos of
gotta
this
do
whole
that.
year.
You gotta do
But
that.
also, genuinely, like, I do want to get the Final Fantasy Crisis Core.
Yo, I'm very excited about that.
Oh,
Like,
wow,
I do
okay.
want to get that because I saw my roommates playing Final Fantasy VII Remake, and I was like, this is kind of cool. I wish it was on Switch. Well, this is
So
the
you
closest
get
thing I'm going to get, right?
And you
And
know,
then, yeah,
It probably is.
recently they confirmed that a bunch of demo players over at TGS, they confirmed that the Switch version is also going to be 60 frames per second.
Ooh.
I like
really?
that.
So it's gonna
I
run
like that a lot.
native.
Oh.
Okay.
But then yeah, like biggest announcement outside of that, yeah, N64 Online, because this is the first time a lot of those games are getting re-released. A lot of those games weren't on Virtual
like
Console for
GoldenEye.
Wii or Wii U. So
Yeah, like
I'm
Mario
excited.
Party.
That's
about
correct, yeah.
Yeah, Mario Party Stadium and even GoldenEye. So I'm very much looking forward to that.
I was gonna say also, if you plan on playing Fire Emblem, if you are not comfortable with it, you can always just turn off permadeath, because that was honestly a big
Correct.
yeah. Well, that was a big reason as to why I just wasn't getting into them, because turns out I don't like the idea of permadeath, and I'm just
Yeah.
too tired for that.
I
So
appreciate the
second-
advice.
I'm the same way.
yeah,
and
the
I don't
second
mean
I
to
turned it off, I
smack talk
started
you.
having fun. No.
Do you know who I am? I'm the type of
Yoshiller's
guy that
definitely
starts
gonna go.
on the hardest difficulty just to see
Okay,
what
you,
happens.
you just like having a bad time, so that's
Yeah, I'm
understandable.
like,
Get to
what's
the
the
end of the game
hardest?
with just your main character.
Yeah,
Challenges.
I can do it. So
The
we'll
second-
see. But
Yeah, the second I turned it off, I started actually having fun with Fire Emblem.
Yeah, I'm the
realistically, I
same
might
way.
start on like the easiest or second easiest difficulty, but I might keep permadeath on just because I feel like that's the point of Fire Emblem. But we'll see what I
Fair
do.
enough.
We'll see what I do.
I play casual.
That's fair.
Hey, it's your choice.
Yeah.
Interesting. Well, before we move on, what is everyone's thoughts on? Because I know I have my own thoughts personally, but what is everyone's thoughts on the name for Fire Emblem?
I like it. I mean,
It's short, simple, to the point. Yeah.
Yeah, I think tears
My
have been a
my
motif
favorite
in
Nokia
Zelda.
phone.
So your favorite, Nokia phone?
We're
that
talking
what
about
you said?
Fire Emblem right
We're
now.
talking about
Yeah,
Fire
we're talking about
Emblem.
We're not talking
God,
about
I
Zelda
thought-
yet.
My brain just like, oh, I'm into it. Engage. I mean, I don't care then. Move on.
Wow.
Yeah, name's dumb. I don't care.
It's kind of a silly name.
I think
That
it's
is
fine. I just
awesome.
think we're at the point where there's so many Fire Emblem games that it might be difficult to keep track of the subtitles. Like, oh, I really love Fire Emblem Echoes. Oh, is that the Switch one? No, that's the 3DS one. I thought that was Awakening. No, that's Awakening's a different one. Like, it's just getting to the point where
Yeah.
I like these one-word subtitles because it's easy to just call them by that subtitle. Like, oh, I'm gonna go play FE Engage. I'm just gonna play Engage.
It's FE.
Fee. I'm gonna play a Fee.
You know what?
I'm gonna play.
Microtransactions.
But when you're
We're
telling
gonna
me
play-
you tell me you don't like names like Fire Emblem Genealogy of the Holy War,
Yo,
and Fire Emblem Mystery of the Emblem, and how can we forget about Fire Emblem Tharcia 776?
I admit
Well,
that
you-
these one-word subtitles or sometimes two-word subtitles are a whole lot easier. But we are reaching a point where I just think it's gonna be hard to keep track. I genuinely wonder if they should go back to numbers, but we'll see.
Well, you can always just call them by their acronyms. So you can go, do you want to play Fee, or do you want to play Fia, or do you want to play Fe, or do you want to play?
What if I want to play Fire
play
Emblem
is not to
Echoes
be
instead of Fire
confused
Emblem
with-
Engage? What do I do then? What do I do? Seriously. Picos.
Listen. Just because I haven't said anything about Fire Emblem Engage yet, I do also want to point out, seeing Sigurd in that game gives me hope that we will eventually get a remake of Genealogy of the Holy War.
No, this is your remake. This is it. Like,
Just
You know
Sigurd.
what? If
It's also-
Selif too, fine.
It's also weird how some of the characters in that art were using the Fire Emblem Heroes weapon.
well, I mean, like, come on,
It's
like,
canon.
yeah, and then like they're lifting that concept in order to summon multiple past heroes from heroes. So I mean, like, I feel that would make sense, and it's good for consistency. Like, oh, if you played Heroes, you'll like Engage. So like,
That's true, actually, yeah.
So you're telling me there's a chance that I could see Bunny Lucina in the new game? Got it.
No, let's not go that
Is
far.
it
Alright.
weird
Where
that
do I pre-order?
Nah,
if they do their whole if they really go the full route of you can do a bunch of DLC costumes,
Like the full
I
gotcha
wouldn't be
vibe.
surprised if they did at least swimsuit outfits as DLC, because that's something they do a
Yeah,
lot
but
of.
it would only be.
For some
Oh
outfits.
my
I would
god.
say it's only for the actual characters and not for the emblems, because the emblems are inheriting you anyway.
yeah.
What if I want them to inherit my swimsuit?
see, they always do like swimsuit, like season stuff, and that's all cool. But I just want to see one that's just Fire Emblem characters, but they have OSHA regulated construction worker outfits.
OSHA regular. Hey,
I
at
love
least the safety is the number one priority, right? Even though we're
That
like,
is
going
true.
away and everything. I
Uh,
digress. Anyway, all right. So I guess last on our docket here, and I guess we could kind of use this as a, jumping off point to talking about Zelda as a whole, right? Because I kind of, I'm feeling like I'm getting where this conversation is going to go. So, HMK, what'd you think about the Direct as a whole? What was your standout announcement? Let's give us our full unbridled thoughts. Go.
Oh my! Like, honestly, I
Jesus
loved.
Christ.
I loved the Direct. I loved everything about the Direct. Yo, people out here
Nice.
saying it's mid. People saying that it's bad. People was like, bro, what a waste of my time. I'm like, listen, I loved everything. I am such a fiend for harvest simulators and whatnot and RPGs. And I am looking forward to Fire Emblem Engage. I think the protagonist looks a little weird. I was like calling him Pepsi Man for the longest, but I think like he'll come on. Right. I love Pikmin games, so I'm like really excited for Pikmin 4. The only the only thing that I feel like is like a common thought with all of us and stuff that I really didn't like about the Direct was that section where Miyamoto was just pushing Pikmin Blue, and I'm like, yo, get off the screen. This isn't new information. I was like, I was maulding. I was like, yo, Miyamoto is slowly but surely turning into the villain, and and I'm like, I'm starting to dread.
Dude, he's just promoting a mobile.
No.
game.
I'm legit starting to dread every time this man shows up on screen because it's
It's
either
gonna
gonna
be a
be
Joker moment.
yeah, it's either gonna be like 2 minutes of Pikmin Bloom or him talk about how much he loves Chris Pratt, right? And I'm like, listen, move on, right?
Okay, but did you know that Chris Pratt is so cool?
Yeah.
I think he's so
Yeah,
cool.
seriously.
I think
Oh,
that
cool.
the part that we knew is that I think we all knew that we were gonna see a Pikmin 4 the second he showed up. But
I was hoping.
just the fact that we spent like 5 minutes on Pikmin Bloom, that was like, all right,
like,
man.
bruh.
And
Like, we
then
get it.
Yeah, but to me, like it's still funny because Miyamoto literally said in an interview, "Hey, I'm working on Pikmin 4 back in 2016," and then you took 6 years to say anything about it.
right.
Good lord!
So with all that considered, and also GoldenEye, I'm a huge GoldenEye nut. So I'm like, it's really interesting to see that game come with online play. And then before we get to Zelda, because obviously Zelda's my number one, like there's nothing that's gonna beat Zelda for that. Is like, you know, going against what Don is saying, I was yelling for Tales of Symphonia. I'm like, yes, yeah. Oh, that's an instant buy for me.
Yeah.
And like that's one of the games
still
I
a
grew up
bummer.
with. I love Tales of Symphonia. I understand, you know, the PS2 version, but the PS2 version comes with more content. Everyone gets a mystic art and there's more dungeons and whatnot. I'm so excited to like dump another 100 hours into that game again. And then obviously the big case in point, Tears of the Kingdom. People's like, it's a short trailer. I don't know why people are getting hype. I'm like, are you serious? We're getting a full release date. We got that beautiful box art, key art. We got a logo, which I love, like Tears of the Kingdom. And then there's so much that Zelda fans can really play around with in terms of like content theorizations and lore and stuff like that. I mean, like the whole idea that like I every time, this is like the third call I've been on when it comes to like talking about Tears of the Kingdom and what happened with the direct. And this is the third time I'm going to say this. I want everyone to look at every Zonai theorist and apologize right now. Like, because like Nintendo Black Crisis was on the money. The fact that the logo itself is literally two Zonai dragons eating each other like Ouroboros, I find that insane to me. Like, the Zonai's probably going to be a huge deal to that. So all things considered, you know, I'm very happy with this direct, and I'm extremely happy with what we saw with Zelda. And I can't wait for more. And I feel like Nintendo literally just announced not too long ago that there's going to be a photo booth at Nintendo Live in Japan in October 11th and 12th with Tears of the Kingdom. So this makes me very excited for the, you know, they're finally pushing their marketing with this game. And I can't wait to see what they have in store in the coming months.
Yeah, seriously.
Also ripped the German box art for this game already.
Mm-hmm.
Rest in peace.
Big old sticker on the front.
That
Yeah, big
sticker's
old age rating.
huge.
It's so
Yeah, their age
giant.
ratings are gigantic. I don't get it.
They're so big they kicked Yoshi out.
yeah,
Besides, if you don't ever seen it, I posted
Yeah,
it in our
they
chat.
had to shove
Yeah.
the logo over to the side. That's so disrespectful. Like, oh
No,
my
HMK,
lord.
though, I'm totally with you on like people apologizing to the Zelda theorists because I've been listening to that stuff for years, and it's paining me right now because I want to see what everyone else has found, but I'm working on my own analysis still, and I can't look. I can't look until after my own is done.
It's the best
for
time of the
Game Explain.
year.
It's great. Like I can't wait for when mine is done, and I just go look at like Nintendo Black Crisis and Zelda. I go look at all of them. Like, all right, let's see what everyone's been saying about the Zonai and hearing them get that confirmation they've been saying for years. You're absolutely right on that.
Well, now that we're talking about it, I guess considering like theories and everything, what do we think that, because this is like honestly the first question that I had, what do we think Tears of the Kingdom implies? Like, what does that title even mean in relation to the
implies
game?
that the UK didn't get a live Nintendo Direct.
True. Oh my god.
When that hit me, I was like, oh, I see why. Whoa.
Damn.
Yeah.
All right, it makes a little more sense. But do you think it's going to be like more of, I mean, it's probably going to be an emotional game, kind of like some aspects of the original was, but you think
I was
it'll
already
maybe lean
emotional on the
more
first
heavily
one.
into
I
that?
hope so.
Definitely. I like when I was talking with the boys not too long ago about like this game and whatnot, it seems there's a lot of like shady things as to put into the Immortal Worlds for my friend Rabbit Luigi. Like, it's just very sus. This game's identity seems very, very suspicious, right? And with the whole concept of Tears of the Kingdom, is it an item? Is it an event we're gonna see? I just get the whole idea that this game is gonna go into a little bit of like the darker, sadder side of Zelda, which I'm all for.
I'm all for that too.
We
I'm also
know
just kind of
they're-
like,
Sorry.
I'll go for it.
I'll say we know they're capable of it too. Like Age of Calamity. I know that's not the game people wanted it to be as Breath of the Wild
Yeah.
fans, but that game had a really good story and some really heavy moments
Yeah,
in its
I liked
cutscenes, especially for Zelda.
Mhm.
So I think that shows they can do it. But the question
They
is,
were like good cutscenes too, like
Yeah.
very, very well animated. I hope they lean more into that with Tears of the Kingdom.
Sure.
Can I throw in my 2 cents?
Let's hear it.
What I think it means, because we've seen so little of the game, and they said they were holding off on this game's title because they feared it might be a spoiler.
Mm-hmm.
What I actually think the game is going to revolve around, and I might be completely wrong, I think the game will revolve around you going to those who are deceased, going to the graves of some of these characters, and literally collecting their tears, because that might be the only thing they can physically give you now that they're dead.
Oh my god.
And using those
Yeah.
to view memories of other
So
characters,
dark.
because Breath of the Wild was a lot about unlocking your memories.
Mhm.
So I'm wondering if this game you collect the tears of others. Maybe you collect, like, I don't know, Mipha's tears or something, and you're able to see her memories before she was finally defeated, or something like that. Or maybe you collect Ganon's tears, and that shows you like
Punch him in the
his
face.
history of.
Thank you.
He's
I
stealing
freaking
lunch
would.
money.
Weather boy.
Cry,
lunch
cry,
money.
darn it! No, so I think a lot of the game will revolve around literally collecting tears, and I'm sure that probably sounds obvious, but I think the tears will come from those that fell during the 100-year Calamity War. That's what I think.
Interesting.
That could be.
You know, going off of that for a little bit, I honestly think like the one thing, if I were to choose one thing to lean towards with Tears of the Kingdom, if it's an item or anything like that, I really feel that Tears of the Kingdom is like a little bit of a hint of like the sins of the royal family that you
Yeah.
have to expose
That's what I
their
was
guilt.
thinking, too.
There's like, because it's nothing new that they've done some really messed up things in Zelda's history. Like, look at the Shadow Temple. I just feel like we're going to be exposing a lot of Hyrule families' hidden history that they don't want to admit because they'll feel too guilty. And that's the Tears of the Kingdom, because they're like, man, we did some things. Sorry.
I think there's some validity to that, because if you remember from Breath of the Wild, there was a lot of what the catalyst of what ended up happening was due to a lot of inaction from Hyrule Castle.
yeah.
So I think that's definitely something that we would be exploring more.
I hope so, man. I hope this game ends up being really dark. There's just
Mhm.
like, I feel like with this reveal, there's way more to go off of and kind of predict, because we got like the logo with the whole Ouroboros thing. I'm not really sure what that's supposed to mean. Or
Well,
what does Ouroboros
you know
even
what?
mean typically?
I can take this, not to spoil
Yes,
my
yes,
analysis,
please.
but
You
I've been,
know,
I've been
here's-
like
I'm
talking
handing
about
you
this
the
to
mic.
myself for so long.
Yeah, no, for sure.
So Ouroboros, as it's also in Xenoblade Chronicles 3, it represents the cycle of life, death, and rebirth. And
Mhm.
that's actually pretty big because, sure, oh boy, we're dealing with Zonai, which is supposed to be an ancient race in Zelda, sure. But the cycle of rebirth is like everything Zelda's about when you look at like the timeline and the origins from Skyward Sword. So it's actually almost surprising that it took this long for Ouroboros to appear in anything Zelda. And
Right.
to work a little bit off of what you were saying earlier, HMK, about like the Tears of the Kingdom being more about like Hyrule sins, I've been thinking that what we might actually see is that the Zonai, or whatever they end up really being called, have actually had a hand in like everything all along, but they've been like horrendously like erased from everything.
Yep.
And I think that's the meaning behind the weird look of the Master Sword. Like why the lower half of it in the logo just looks like a completely different blade. I think it's actually because it matches up with the kind of the Zonai, like the iconography that we've seen from them so far. I think that actually means they even had a hand in the creation of the Master Sword all along. Like they've been responsible in some way or had a hand in everything up to this point, but like they've been erased from history. Like they for some reason.
Huh.
I would love that.
Oh my.
Because
I love that too. Yeah,
you know, because
that's really
It's gonna
good.
be so deep, dude.
That's really
because
good.
like in all the things that we can like confirm about the Zonai, it's always like three big things. One, they were four big things. One, they had this big animal motif around them. Two, they were skilled magic users. Yet three, they were known as savages. And then four, somehow, some way, they were just gone. Like literally, they disappeared from the face of the earth in like basically overnight. So I feel like, you know, the royal family had a hand in like trying to erase them, because a big theory that I've been having like for years now is that I feel like the Zonai are basically, I would say, I don't want to use the word precursor or proto, but they've basically inspired a lot of technology with their own, you know, I would say, with their own magic, with their own knowledge. They inspired a lot of technology that the Sheikah lifted from them.
Yep.
And that like everything the Sheikah's done, Zonai's done first, and then predates that, and then the royal family just like, nah, we're gonna get rid of them. And for so that people don't look into them, we're just gonna say that they're savages, right? Nah, they weren't magic users. Nah. Who said that? You know, I feel that's like the avenue they're going down.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is
I'm
like
definitely with you
all
on that.
adding up to a really dark story here.
It is.
Darker than I thought it was gonna go to.
Well,
I
I
like
hope
it.
there's
hopefully
also
it
a lot
does
more
that.
story there, to be honest, because I felt like in some ways, like I loved Breath of the Wild, but I felt that story-wise there wasn't sometimes not that much going on. I
Yeah.
hope there's more going on behind the scenes that I really want.
Yeah, they
Definitely.
were super intentionally vague in Breath of the Wild, and I think it was the direction they decided to go. But I'm
Yeah.
really hoping for kind of a more classic storytelling this time around.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I'm kind of curious about, is how far they will push that side of it. Like from a gameplay perspective, I'm totally down. I'm already happy. Like especially with the last trailers, how they showed the arm and everything. That has me really pumped. I'm just wondering how much, like, how deeper they will go on the story and the things, and that's what I'm really hoping.
Mm-hmm.
I think
what-
I think one of the best ways that they could also just find more ways to world build is I know that there's basically going to be like an entire different segment of the game now that's just going up in the skies.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I don't know how big in scope that area is yet. I know it's a big focus, but I think there'll be some really good opportunities here to do some more world building.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to see some of the world building that, for example, like a lot of the From Software games are well known for. Not just in like your item descriptions and whatnot, but also like in the way that environments craft and they tell their own stories as you go along. There was a good amount of that in Breath of the Wild, but I want to see that take it to a next level as well.
Mm-hmm. I
Yeah.
hope that
You know,
the sky is as extensive or so extensive that it feels like a dark world. Like it feels like it encompasses the entire world, and there's just kind of another layer on top of it.
Ooh.
At first, I was really scared about how big or how small the sky area would be going from the second trailer. But ever since I saw that third trailer, like the Tears of the Kingdom trailer, and seeing that big chunk of land over Akala or the Lenara region, I'm like, man, let's go District 9. All right, I'm like, I have no worries after seeing how giant that landmass was in the distance. I'm like, okay, they got this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My only hope with it is that it's smooth all the way through, right? Like, because there is now a big distance between the world below and the world above, and who knows, because from the first trailer we saw stuff below the surface. I wonder how that will scale when you go up and down. We saw it a little bit with the bits of gameplay that we saw. I just hope that the constant transition between that stuff is like fluently.
Right.
So, correct me if I'm wrong. I think somebody on the Zelda team at some point referred to this game as an open air game. Is that right?
The original Breath of the Wild, the original they call it open air.
Yep.
They're like we refuse to call it open world. It's open air, and I get it because there's a lot of verticality involved. So
Yeah.
Interesting.
I have faith that they can make it happen. Do we still think that Zelda will be playable in this game at all?
no.
No.
No,
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 all
100%
right.
not.
Yeah, all right. That
I am
was a
not
quick
holding my
answer.
hopes. Yeah, I am. I mean, if you want me to just be painfully honest, unfortunately, probably not.
Man, that's
I would love. I
man
would
going
love
from
that.
Age of Calamity to that. Oh, she's so cool in Age of Calamity.
She's so cool.
She is, but she's
Yeah.
passed out in one of the images that we see in and the art.
Ugh.
So we should
Well-
probably got to be saved. I'm going to take a shot in the dark and say that.
I would have thought that would be something that was crafted in the past, right? Because
Yeah,
it looks like
maybe.
it had been there for a while.
Perhaps.
And my thought was that it was probably a past Zelda or something, because Zelda's alive in the first
Correct.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
Very
I don't
much
know
so.
if she's necessarily incapacitated, maybe just unable to reach Link in some way. I don't really know the full scope of it, because obviously there's only so much we can go off of.
No, of course.
But damn, everyone shot down my dreams just like that, huh? Okay,
I
all right.
think because they considered the idea before, like, I think Skyward Sword, they were thinking about doing, like, Zelda's Quest on the surface, for example. We know they've considered the idea of a playable Zelda before. If they do it in this game, it's either going to be something that isn't there from the start and becomes, like, a big thing that they're not going to spoil beforehand, or it'll be a DLC thing. As a, here's what Zelda was doing the whole time.
I think they
Interesting.
could definitely do it because not only have they considered it before, they have indeed done it before. That's why
True.
so like that's one of the reasons why like Spirit Tracks is kind of loved by some fans, is because she became such an integral part of the whole journey.
Mm-hmm.
And she just like, because she had like even you kind of indirectly played as her, you still had like she was still like a very core
Such a
part
great
of
character.
the
Right.
she was a core part of the gameplay loop. So like that's why that's what that game works so well. All other words aside.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
if this game really does deal with the tiers of the history of Hyrule,
Mhm.
Zelda needs to be there, because I don't think it'll be as impactful if she doesn't learn it herself to build her
Yeah.
kingdom's future going
Yeah.
forward with the knowledge of it.
Especially since her family has such deep hands and whatever situation is probably like hidden under the rug in some way.
Well, plus
Yes.
she's the only
So-
member of the family alive, right?
Yep.
Yep.
So it
Yeah.
kind of
Yeah.
has to be there.
All
Yeah.
I'm saying is, next year when this game drops during review season, I better see a headline that says "Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Gamers," because I want to cry when I play this game. My Pro controller
All
needs
there
to
to
be
cry.
soaked.
Yeah.
There better be, but this is slightly off topic, but there better be a Zelda OLED. So I can buy
Yeah.
another.
Oh, there
Ooh,
will.
that's
Oh,
gonna
it's
be
gonna be
nice.
nice.
Take a
that's
Pro
gonna be
controller
like
too, some new whatever. I'll take it all.
Yeah, I'm
Wow.
purposely holding off on the Pokemon one because I feel so confident there's going to be a
Yeah.
Zelda one. And
I
want
already
that.
There's
have
gotta
one. I'll
be.
buy
Mine.
another.
I was talking to a friend of mine, and
gotta
they
be.
said exactly that.
Honestly, these new
jeez.
OLEDs have been looking so good. I'm like, dang, I might just start buying these just to
Gotta
have
go
I mean, it's
broke.
completely off topic, but I have the Splatoon one and I
It's
love
so-
it.
Ooh.
The
It's very
Joy-Cons for the
trendy. I love
Splatoon one are
those
just like
gradients.
the best Joy-Cons. They're so
Yeah.
nice.
Oh yeah. Oh,
that
yeah.
gradient design.
Yeah.
Speaking of
So good.
speaking of Zelda, I know that this was kind of like a rumor that was being passed around when like on the eve of the direct, but like one of the
Yeah.
biggest rumors was that there was going to be a Zelda blowout.
Sad.
Yeah,
There's
no,
still
yeah.
time. There's
What do
still
you mean?
time.
This is the Zelda blowout, man. Like, it's
Come
amazing.
on. Look at how much content we got.
I feel like they didn't decide to do. So I feel like they're working on Twilight Princess, Wind Waker HD, or they're done with it, but it's not ready. But I feel
God,
like,
I hope so.
but I feel like they didn't decide to do that until people started like kicking up dirt about it like a year ago.
That's fair.
Ugh.
Well, I think
I'm kicking up dirt right now.
Yeah.
I think genuinely they are trying to see when Tears of the Kingdom is going to come out.
Yeah.
They can better time a release for
I
it.
well
Yeah.
now they know, but I have a feeling it's going to be either late next year or the year after, and it's
Probably.
yeah.
Yeah, I think what I would have liked to see out of that is I know that this is definitely like a very far out
Mhm.
a wish, but I'm hoping that that Gretz is actually working on the so-called like Oracle remakes after they did Link's Awakening.
I really want
Oh,
that.
please. Please.
Yeah, because I think that would be
Man.
amazing. I know it's a far fetch, but I think that would be cool.
I don't think it's actually as far fetched as people think it is.
No. it's
Yeah.
not.
The games were originally made on like the Link's Awakening engine, so now that
Yeah,
they have
yeah,
that
yeah.
remade, it's not
They also
unlikely to see
even
them
could do
all.
the two versions again, Pokemon style.
Yeah.
because you have
They
your
could very easily do
wireless
that.
functionality.
Yeah, I've been playing Ages on my Analog Pocket, and I've been having a blast with it so far. It's so good.
I want Minish Cap too
I'm-
while we're asking for things.
Ooh.
Yes.
I mean, I want
That'd
another
be great.
sword style game if we're asking for things.
Let's
Yeah.
just get every Zelda game
Ooh.
available on the Switch.
How about that?
Yeah,
I
I
don't
love
see
Yeah.
why not. What's
Seriously.
stopping you guys? Well, I don't see why not, Nintendo. We'll buy them.
We will. It's free.
Well,
I basically want everything.
And you can have it. That's
I
Maybe they
only
can
want
put-
Twilight Princess.
Maybe they can
I'm
put
very easy to
Triforce
please.
Heroes on the Switch, and I'll actually play it this time.
Yeah.
I love Triforce Heroes.
It's
I
so
love Triforce
fun.
too, man.
I think
tried
it would
playing-
do
no.
way better on the Switch than it did on the 3DS.
I agree with
Yeah.
you. The,
I
my,
agree.
my beef with it is that I tried playing it and I bought it. My wife bought it, and a friend of mine bought it. The problem was my friend was from the UK, and it turns out the servers were region locked.
Yes.
So in that game, you either play it solo or you play it with 3 people. There's no in between.
Oh,
So I played it for 5 minutes and then never touched it again.
sad.
Yeah.
Really?
Oh.
I was gonna say really quickly, Alec, how many more things on the docket do we have to go over? Because I wanted to bring up like 3 quick things, if you don't mind.
Sure, go for it.
Okay, so is anyone else in the camp of I know I want Mario Rabbids Sparks of Hope? I'm not looking at anything else on it because I think I
same.
completely
Yep.
skipped
I
that
am
part of the
definitely-
direct.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like I'm like,
Yeah.
you sold me
Could've done
already. I'm
without
good.
it, yeah.
Yeah.
I am definitely there.
because they did like a whole Ubisoft thing on that. So I was like, why is this?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, I kind of zoned out during that part. I was like, I already know I'm gonna play it. Like, I don't need to know more. There are certain games like that where I'm just feeling, yeah, I feel like I've seen enough. Thank you very much, but I
Looks
move on.
perfect.
The
Ship
same
it.
goes with like
Yeah.
Bayonetta 3 for me. Like Bayonetta
Oh yeah,
3,
same.
I know I'm gonna play it. I want to experience the story fresh. I don't need to see more of that game.
Apparently,
Yeah.
like after the direct, they dropped like a whole like 8-minute overview
Yeah, it
thing,
was-
and I
yeah,
was
like,
like, I'm
they
not
I
watching
didn't
this.
watch it.
I'm not watching.
I didn't watch it.
Mhm.
Yep.
And then
yeah.
Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, they previewed 2 of the tracks. So one of them was
One
like
of them-
Christmas themed.
One of
and
them
I
was
was
the
like,
one I asked for last time. Does anyone remember?
Oh,
Who was
Peach
in the
Garden?
chat?
What
I
was
don't know. I was like, I don't know what I want. I looked it up on the internet. I was like, there's a Christmas track. I want Merry Mountain.
Oh no, it's Merry
I remember
Mountain.
that,
Merry
yeah.
Mountain.
I do remember that.
Yeah.
yeah.
Thank
And they
you.
said it's coming like winter, and I was like, appropriate. Only 2 of the
Yeah,
tracks
holidays.
though. Okay, cool. Anyway.
Yeah.
We might be getting LA
It's fine.
Labs.
It's more
in this
DS
next
tracks, so
batch.
that's all that matters.
If we get LA Labs, they can be
maybe.
like, look, guys, it's where I live. Yep. Banana
The
peels. and
traffic
shells
is way
everywhere.
worse in real life.
Yeah.
And then they also showed like Diddy and like Pauline are coming as strikers, and I'm like the
Yup.
thing with these Mario sports games, right? They've done this how many times? Twice on the Switch? No, 3
Three
times.
times.
They've done this
Yeah.
3 times now, and they still
3
need baseball. And I'm
times.
like, bro, y'all can't keep getting away with this, bro. Like, I'm just
I mean,
like,
I bought it.
Yeah, it's like it's on my Switch,
So,
but cool.
I'll be
Yeah.
honest. I'll be honest with Mario Strikers. I have not played it from the moment that I first
Dude,
played.
same.
So I played the evening over the evening it came out. I've never
Mhm.
touched that game again.
Oh.
Meanwhile, Switch ports, I put a easily 85 hours in it so far because I keep up with the consumables and the unlocks week.
And you're about to get
That's
golf,
crazy.
which is like
Yeah.
8
Yeah.
player at the same
Eventually.
time
Mhm.
golf too, apparently.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I the problem with Mario sports games is either they do the updates too late when it doesn't matter, or after a few updates they're like, yeah, we're done. See you guys later. Bye bye.
Yeah. I don't like
Later,
that.
nerds.
I've been very forgiving of, well, I'm always forgiving of Nintendo, but I've been very forgiving of the like drip feed new characters in their sports games lately, but I think it's overstated its welcome. It's
Mm-hmm.
It
I think
it's
so
definitely
not
too.
is.
good.
I think with Mario Strikers was particularly egregious because they didn't do anything for the first month and a half. Then they did the Daisy update, and then until now they've been completely quiet.
Mm-hmm.
I think.
Yeah, that game is very curious.
Yeah, I think it's because Mario Strikers feels like it's missing something, and I think it also didn't really make anyone happy that Daisy was part of the first update rather than part of the base game.
Mhm.
That just felt like a weird oversight on their part.
And it was so
Yeah.
quick. Like, you
But-
know that
but-
these are planned and developed ahead of time, and they
Exactly.
could have easily gotten Daisy in there.
I
But
think
for me,
just-
it's weirder, right? Because like my sport to go is soccer, football
Yeah.
in Europe. Like I go to a stadium every week to watch a match. Like, and I am like, I dropped it after the first evening. That has never happened with the other 2 Mario sports
Mhm.
games. I'm like, I'm already done. I don't want to play this anymore because there's nothing to do for me.
Yeah, they needed to do more with the game to incentivize like more playing of it. Have like the first 4 of these free update characters actually be unlockable characters in the game.
Right.
have content that like Mario Tennis and Mario Golf both have. Like,
I think Next Level Games wanted to do that, and I think the unfortunate situation we're in now is that Nintendo needs to make games more frequently,
yeah,
and it's hard to keep making games of that scale at such a consistent pace. So they've just adapted the model of, well, as long as we have the game on the calendar, we can just add more content later. Because what looks good to investors and even to consumers is just knowing more games are coming out.
It's just knowing game is there.
Right.
Yeah.
Man.
The problem is if they continue down that route, people are going to stop buying into the sports games and to
We're
others.
gonna, we're gonna see how that plays out. But that, as it stands, like that is the strategy Nintendo wants to take, just because it's easier on them.
it does make me scared for
a-
baseball.
Oh, they can't pull
that's
it with
what
baseball.
If you buy Mario Baseball, there's only 8 characters from the get go. You can't even put a team together.
Mario Super Sluggers on Wii
Yeah.
had such a
Characters all
huge
peach.
roster. If it isn't like that, I don't know what to tell you. Like it.
Right.
But yeah, it felt to me so weird because like you still pay full price for a game, and after one evening you're like, yeah, I'm done. That doesn't sit right with me at all.
Yeah.
But
No,
yeah,
it doesn't.
what happened
That's
with it.
but that's actually what happened with me. Like I was excited about Mario Strikers, and then the closer we get to the date, I'm like, I know how it's gonna play out. The game's gonna come out. The consensus is gonna be it's a good game. I just wish there was more of it. And then a year later, there's gonna be a little bit more of it. Then I'm gonna pick it up again in a year. I'm gonna play it for 10 minutes and then never touch it again. And that's what happened with the other two. So that's why I haven't bought Mario Strikers yet.
I mean, it isn't as bad as Mario Tennis Ultra Smash on Wii U.
That was
Yeah.
Talk about that
the
game.
worst. I don't
I
know what
didn't
they're
actually
thinking
get
with that
that.
game. Oh, don't.
Yeah.
You saved yourself.
But it still upsets me that if I would look back at the hours, I likely played slightly more of Ultra Smash than one evening of Mario Strike.
Really?
Oh
my
Splatoon.
Nah.
Like,
Yeah.
how is Splatoon the reigning champion of this strategy? Because do you guys remember when Splatoon came out on Wii U and how bare bones it was?
Yeah.
And now
Yep.
it's like
Vaguely.
one of Nintendo's top IPs.
Because
But
it's
I
an
think
evergreen
Splatoon-
shooter, basically.
And not to harp on it, but I think Splatoon 2 has far more content than Mario Strikers had.
Oh, it
yeah.
absolutely does.
Oh, yeah.
My
So
point,
it
my
doesn't
point
feel
is
the
like,
same.
when Splatoon 1 first came out, there were 5 maps. You could only do turf wars. Friend rooms were not a thing, and the amount of gear and weapons you had was pretty minimal. And they added a lot since then. So I don't know how like they can pull it off for Splatoon, but they can't pull it off for like a Mario sports game. It's so weird to me.
Because Splatoon
No.
has the
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
appeal of like every other shooter on the market, but it's Nintendo
Yeah.
shooter.
I will s-
Where
I
it's-
think
I will say this though, they are taking a different approach with Splatoon 3. There's more content from the get go,
Mhm.
but like there's only going to be updates like every few months, which if they don't do that consistently, I will have the same amount of scrutiny towards Splatoon 3 than I have for other games. I'll be completely honest,
like the
because
Yeah.
they need to keep up. Like they need to do this consistently. And the fact there are no weapons weekly like it used to be at the beginning of Splatoon 2 still feels a little bit weird.
I will
Yeah.
say that with Splatoon 3, it seems like they're using the catalog as their makeshift battle pass.
Yeah.
Since they're like, you have
Yeah.
a certain amount of time to get everything in here. Everyone's like, yo, I have until the 30th of November to get that dab.
I
And I
need that
will
dab.
be damned if I get
Oh,
that
the
dab.
only
You
thing I
gotta
care
have that
about.
dab.
And also they added the lockers, and then they have the general store. So now like everyone's creative
Yes,
mind is
but,
going
like,
crazy.
Just imagine
Mhm.
imagine a world in which we had Mario Strikers and you had cosmetic outfits that you could unlock, or you had,
I want
you know, like a locker room that you could design yourself, or
PD
there's
Pro.
like
Powerful.
so
I
many
want
little.
Yoshi to
Powerful,
have
too
Not-
good.
You know, I'm not a game developer. I'm not saying like that would be easy to do. I'm just saying like
Mhm.
it was very one note in gameplay, and not in the way that Splatoon 2 was at launch. There's
I think
Sure.
a lot that could have been added that would have made it more playable, and I enjoyed it, to be clear. But Yeah.
it's tough to compare it specifically to Splatoon because Splatoon was a budding IP that they gave their all to make it a success versus the Mario sports games are Mario spin-offs.
yeah,
They look at it as the Mario name brand already alone will make it sell, and we
Yeah.
just
It
gotta
does,
provide a little
but-
bit of content afterwards to keep people happy with it with a little asterisk.
I think it's
Yeah,
also
yeah.
the
Yeah, but that, to me that sounds worse though, because Mario is such a big brand. I feel like you need to put your all in that too. That's just me.
I
Yeah.
agree with you, and I think when you look at like the charm that's in Strikers, they clearly tried to in some areas. It's just not balanced out enough. Like there's a lot of charm and personality put into the characters, but not a lot of content. For example.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I just want Mario Golf World Tour again. I just want that
Yes.
level of
Yeah.
Or
detail
the
and
Mario
scope
Golf
in
game.
it.
Yeah, World Tour was like
That's the best. That's the
best
3DS one. Yeah, it's the
Yeah.
best one.
yeah.
It's so it's perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The perfect.
The perfect game. The perfect golf game.
But I like at this point I totally expect a Mario Baseball. Am I gonna buy it? Like I still find it a risk to buy a new Mario Sports game now.
Mm-hmm.
It definitely is.
Yeah.
Is it weird of me to say that I liked the announcement of Pauline and Diddy Kong?
No,
I mean, those
like,
renders are
I
clean.
like
I'm
that.
down for it.
those
Too.
renders are clean.
Okay, in a vacuum as an announcement, sure. Am I gonna play with them? I've already deleted the game off my Switch.
The new
I
stadium
know.
design is a good announcement too. It's just
I wish there were more, dude.
I'm
It's
just
unfortunate.
memeing.
I know.
The game needs more, but anyway, I'm glad that you brought that up, though, David, because we can kind of finally wrap up this whole segment about the direct with giving my thoughts. So, for me personally, I think it was good. Obviously, I'm not one of those people that thinks every single direct has to be made for me and my tastes. Though, personally, I couldn't help but feeling like this one felt a little slow-paced and skewed more RPG than other directs in recent memory, anyway. But I can't fault them too much for that, in truth. And, you know, I do think that it still loses a few points for me, though, in terms of just overall interest in what was shown. However, all that said, I had to take a little bit of a break there to catch my breath. All that said, I'm glad to finally see updates on some of the big titles that have been long talked about or rumored, like the new Fire Emblem Engage, which I thought was an interesting game to lead with, honestly. Still not personally a fan of the name, to be honest. It kind of sounds like a
Isn't
little
it
bit of
funny?
a mobile game.
I
but-
just realized that the two main Nintendo Directs here opened with something in the Fire Emblem franchise.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird. I mean, like the last one I can understand, but Fire Emblem Engage is kind of like I don't know why. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. It just felt weird.
Right.
It's funny.
But anyway, I said it during my live reaction. The name sounds like a little bit of a mobile game rather than a
does.
full-fledged
That
FE
is
game.
true.
That's
Yeah, it
just
kinda
like
doesn't it?
I realize that's completely subjective, and maybe it's not the same for everybody else. I'm glad that you guys agree with me, though. But that said, I think everything else about it looks great, and I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say that I actually do think the designs for the protagonists look pretty good, pretty cool, personally. I think they look great, and it feels like what you would get if Sam and I or HMK and I did the fusion dance from Dragon Ball, and we just like turned into one person. The red and blue color thing is pretty cool. The colors are so bold. Anyway, I'm sure time will only make me love them more. Anyway, there was that, as well as the announcement of Miyamoto playing Pikmin Bloom on his phone. That
Stop
also
it.
came after the brief mention of the Super Mario movie, and just before the announcement of Pikmin 4. That whole segment was just a big what the heck for
Yeah.
me. Then, of course, the big thing was the showcase for Breath of the Wild 2, which we now know as Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, which looks awesome. And, I know we've talked about it as much as we have already, but anyway, it looks great. I can't wait to play it. And the game comes out in May, which is like super weird to say out loud, but yeah, it looks great. And obviously there were a couple of other cool announcements here and there, which I'm glad that you brought up, David. But overall, I think this month's Direct was good and definitely carried by Zelda for me, which...
Nice.
Just
That was-
250
It's fair.
days, baby. Let's go.
right? The countdown begins officially now.
I
So-
will say with that,
Oh, yeah, go.
not to interject, the wait for this game feels more bearable now that we actually know the title and like a hard
Yeah.
release date.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
It
not
makes the
like
game real.
shifting in my seat.
Yeah, it makes it real now. Yeah.
Yeah, seriously. So I know it's hard to believe, but this Direct happened this past week. But we can't forget the fact that the week prior, we also saw the release of Splatoon 3 as well, which honestly, it feels like way longer of a time. But I don't know about you guys, but I quite literally cannot put this game down. I've been streaming this game nearly every day over on Twitch, and even when I'm not live, I'll find myself still logging in and getting a few hours worth of Turf War in before I go to bed, which adds up to quite a lot. And also before we get too far into this discussion, just a note for the folks listening at home, we will not be talking much about any story elements or events that occur throughout the campaign, so spoiler free for those that like to stay that way. With that said, I gotta ask, Sam, what are you thinking of Splatoon 3 so far? Loving it? Hating it?
Love it. I think it, like, the unlockables are keeping me busy. I love the shop. I mean, I'm a very one-note player. Like, I play for myself. I wear the outfit that I think is cute. I use my arrow spray, but...
Yeah! Woo! Arrow spray!
Yeah,
But
that's good.
That's the only weapon.
Yeah, I mean, as far as I'm concerned. So I'm happy, and the story mode, I won't, talk about it, but it's fun. So I've enjoyed it. I have played pretty much nonstop since it came out. No regrets.
Nice. Yoshiller, what are you thinking of the game?
I love Splatoon 3, man. I
see you online every day, and I'm always like, what's that guy doing?
I love it, dude. That game makes me so happy. I just powered through all the single player, and every level just put a huge smile on my face, even the more frustrating ones. I was like, all right, here we go. This is going to be the run. This wasn't the run. This was going to be the run. Yeah. I love it, man. I love Splatoon. And now that there's 3 games in the series, I feel comfortable saying Splatoon is one of my favorite video game series. So
Nice.
I've been having a fantastic time.
That's interesting. Favorite video game series, too. That's
Well, one of. I mean, obviously, like, Mario and Pokemon are going to have that beat. But, like, Splatoon, top 5 for sure.
Even saying top 5 is pretty impressive because it's pretty young still considering, the competition that has to go against.
Well, it's kind of fun for me because, like, I know it's only been out for, like, 7-8 years, but I kind of grew up with it because I played it at E3 2014 when they first announced it. I was in a commercial for the first game. I was on the brand ambassador list for the second game.
Oh,
and then
snap.
now
Send me that commercial right now.
Okay.
Wait, he's
I got the phone.
But I was also at the E3 where they first showed it for the first time, and I was like so engaged with it, like it was my favorite thing on the show. I came back to that demo like 6-7 times. So yeah, for me, like Splatoon 3, it feels also like the combination of that entire journey where I just really enjoyed the heck out of Splatoon 1 and 2. Like, and
Oh my god!
Sorry,
Sorry,
I like
I'm
the
laughing at
video.
the video.
Bottom.
Yeah.
I think the top to bottom just feels nicer to control. Like, still the weapons that I like to use, like the Splatoon Splashomatic, like with the new wrinkles that they have when it comes to their setups, it still feels like refreshingly fun to me.
Yeah.
The single player, I played through it 100% to completion. Very much enjoyed it. Very good. Like, I would say after Octo Expansion, it's my favorite single player campaign.
Ooh, yeah. After Octo Expansion, so you think it's still better?
Yeah, Octo
Oh,
Expansion is
wow.
still the
Yeah,
better
that's
one to
where
me,
I'm
but
at.
I like this one a ton.
Mm.
And like you said, I cannot stop putting this game back up. Even though it's like, I'm done for today, and then 2 hours later, I'm gonna pick this back up.
I just always psych myself out with that.
I'm currently like catalog level like 54.
Oh wow.
I mean, I also have some other stuff to do now and again, so I don't fully commit to it, but it's one of the things that I pick up on the daily.
Wow. That's you're catching up to me in terms of levels too. By the way, Yoshiller,
I see
this is so funny
I'm
to
looking
watch.
too.
You look like such a baby.
I'm baby.
Do you mind if I put a frame of this?
Yeah.
Like on the video?
Yeah.
Okay.
I got to play Splatoon with a Disney celebrity called Joey Bragg. And
Okay.
I think at first he was kind of like a little peeved by me. He thought I was just like another annoying Nintendo fan, but I think by the end of the day he grew to like me.
Nice.
That's
Yeah,
good.
this guy's pretty
There you
cool.
go.
So I don't think I have a picture with him though, but like we definitely played together. It was very cool.
Wow. Well, if you're watching this in video form, I'll include a little clip on the screen right now.
I appreciate
If you're
it.
watching in podcast form, just imagine a guy with a Yoshi hat. That's what
I,
we're looking at.
I still have that Splatoon shirt, although I don't wear it as much because I also have like Splatoon 2 shirts, and they're kind of like nicer now that the game has a bit more of an identity. But I have that shirt they gave me.
Sure.
I had a lot of fun at that event.
Nice. Oh, that's awesome. What about you, David? Are you playing Splatoon 3? What's your experience been like?
Oh, dude. Ever since they gave this game a release date, announced it earlier this year, right? Earlier this year.
Yeah.
It has been literally my most anticipated game of this calendar year. It is
Nice.
like I am now content with my gaming for the year. To be honest, it's gonna ride me out throughout
Wow. For the rest of the year?
basically
Pokemon?
until Pokemon. Basically until Pokemon.
Until
Oh, okay.
Pokemon.
All right.
But
Damn.
yeah, I've
So,
been
like, 1
playing.
month.
I'll be playing it so much.
Basically. Yeah, basically 1 month.
But yeah, every moment I'm not playing Splatoon is a moment wasted. But I love you, so I gotta be here. But I'm also playing it right
all
now.
right.
I'm lying.
I'm
Okay.
glad everyone has worked it into their schedules of Splatoon playing to be here. Thank you, guys. Thank you.
But yeah, I gotta also agree with Yoshiller. Like Splatoon has become one of my favorite like Nintendo franchises. Like in the Nintendo Tokyo store, like they have Splatoon up there represented with like Link and Mario and like Isabelle is like I guess the top grossing franchises that are most identifiable with their brand name, I guess. And it's like for good reason. Like I love the street style of Splatoon. The Inklings are like freaking fabulous in this game. They are posing like crazy. I'm like, bro, they got modeling lessons between games. Like it's like the new maps are so good. I'm enjoying like the user interface improvements where it's so much easier to group up with friends than it was before. Honestly, that's the biggest thing for me. Now I can just like, hey, you want to play Splatoon together at the same time? Yeah, okay, let's go. So
Yeah, I
Bada
keep
bing.
forgetting how huge Splatoon is in Japan.
Gigantic.
And then
it's the most
Yeah.
it became the fastest selling or most sold Switch game in Japan in 2 days.
yeah, that's crazy. And I keep
I mean,
forgetting
it's
that.
also pretty big across Europe, honestly, because
Yeah.
there are actual like esports leagues for Splatoon here in Europe.
Mhm.
Yeah, I keep forgetting that, and then I remember that they literally had two idol concerts in Japan, and that they were packed.
Oh, the
Yep.
Pearl Marina and the Squid Sisters
I
concert.
would
yeah.
go.
Yeah,
Just, for the record.
Because
Me too.
I would be there now.
just before the pandemic, obviously they haven't done so afterwards, but Nintendo hosts their own event here in Europe for the Splatoon European Championship. So every country has its own representative, which was really fun to watch.
I
Didn't they
want to
already
go to a
announce?
big man
Cool.
concert.
Didn't they
Big
already announce
man!
I
Nintendo
want a big man
Live
concert
this year?
too.
I think they already announced
Did they?
Nintendo Live this year is going to have a deep cut at the
Ooh,
concert.
I want to
I-
see
yes,
Big
I
Man.
feel
feel
like
like
they
they
announced
announced
it
it
I want to see
from
Big Man go.
somewhere, yeah.
I feel
It's
that they
time.
announced it before the game was even out, and like people were surprised about it.
What?
Yo, speaking
That's
of
crazy.
Splatoon, I have a question for y'all.
Mhm.
What would
Oh.
you bring to an island?
Oh my god.
Fun, because we're all gonna die
I'm go-
someday
I'm
anyway.
gonna go
Yeah.
Team Gear.
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 Why
Yeah,
would
there
you
you go.
bring gear? Y'all
We're gonna
acting
have-
like you are literally
Yeah.
telling
Hey,
me
hey.
in my face that you will find a chicken on the island and kill it, skin it, and cook it.
Yes.
Maybe.
What?
Yes.
Are you ready to go
Perhaps.
spear?
Meanwhile, I'm
HMK
getting
will team up
Kentucky
during
Fried
the coming
Chicken
Splatfest,
buckets
don't you worry.
airdropped from the sky.
I'm bringing food.
Airdrop.
yo.
You're lucky
Okay.
if that island has food on it. You're probably gonna have to go
Bro,
spearfishing.
this in my scenario, if you guys want grub, you're getting like all of the Dick's Sporting Goods camping section, right? Airdropped on the island. If I want
Yeah.
grub, whatever, I have an iPad with magical Wi-Fi, and I can just
No,
DoorDash.
you don't get an
I can
iPad.
just
That's too much
DoorDash.
fun.
It's
No,
only
iPad.
for ordering food. It's
No,
only
that's
for
too-
ordering
That's
food.
too much fun, sir.
Just
You're-
food.
Yeah, it's just
Okay,
food.
then it's
Just
whatever.
food.
I have a magical, like, I have a thing where we
No,
can
you
just
get a
order all
grill.
the food.
You had no
Yeah.
food doesn't get brought to you. You have to.
No, the
bring
food is
to the
always.
island.
I wake up
Yeah,
every
we got
morning
heated.
and I have
Nah.
a new amount of food. That's
No,
all it is.
no,
Infinite
no,
food.
The question
No,
is
it's-
Infinite
you have to
food.
bring-
That's how that
no,
works.
It says you have to what you bring as much as you can bring.
I'm
I
bringing
bring all my
infinite
gear.
food.
Nah,
Wait,
I bring my
HMK, is
gear
that how you wanna
into
look
my
at it?
thing. Wait,
So
huh?
what, are you telling me?
is reusable.
Are you telling me when you fly to a convention, you bring like 4 or 5 bags worth of gear so you can enjoy yourself at
Yes!
the convention?
Yes!
Because I
That's what
bring
I
one.
do!
I bring
Yes,
one
that's what I
bag.
do.
I
Have
bring
you
one
seen my
bag,
bag?
and I carry my Switch because that's fun for me. That's
I'm
all
with
I
you.
need.
This
But you
man
know
here
what could
playing
be-
Uno
Oh my
by
God.
himself and stuff. Okay, okay.
Man.
Don't,
You know
don't
what?
Don't
At
worry,
least I'll
HMK.
have a
I will team
smile
up
on
with
my
you during the
face.
coming
Enjoy your
Splatfest.
burger
I'm
while
here
you're
all the way,
bored out
baby.
of your mind.
You don't have a burger
It's gonna be
backpack?
delicious.
Listen, gear is the ultimate answer because not only can that
Yes.
help you find food, that'll also help you build structures and keep you away from the storm.
Stay
Like
warm.
Absolutely, yeah.
Do you even know how to use a
warm.
fishing
Who
rod?
says-
who says gear can't be fun? I'll be having fun, I'll
Okay, cool. So while you're there, banging some sticks,
chop down a
trying
tree,
to have
of
fun,
course.
while you're trying to make entertainment out of your gear, I'm gonna be playing my Switch with my big man, and we're gonna be having the time of our life, and we're gonna be blasting
here's the
music
thing.
so
Here's the
loud,
thing.
and you're
Guys,
gonna wish you had some fun with us.
The only
Yeah,
thing that
okay.
matters
Here's
is
the
supporting
guys.
Shiver, and so here we are doing.
Hey,
more
and I am
Oh my
supporting
God.
Fry with teeth rub, so
I'm
we are
supporting
all
You'll,
good.
you'll
I'm
have
okay
very
with
weird
Wood
ways
Grub.
of saying big man.
My man, big
Yeah,
man.
big man.
I've been.
sweet.
I used to be.
Big
I used to
man.
be a. I used to be a scout boy. Gear is obviously the right answer because you need it on a place that's deserted.
It's true.
Well, I like
Big man's
food, so I
always
can
ready to give
certify
you a
that you
hug,
should
though.
bring food.
It's true.
Big man's always ready
Man.
for hugs.
Yoshiller's
is
gonna
true.
survive on good vibes.
That's right.
That is true.
Isn't that right,
So is
Tris?
Of course, Big Man
Tris
will be
and
the one
Yoshiller
to
are gonna
bring
fight.
fun. Like that's the first one we eat when we go on a dessert.
Yes.
island. Like,
Yeah,
Sorry, big
just-
man.
Great, you're gonna eat us, and then you're gonna be bored.
Big man.
Hey,
You-
all
you
I'm-
He's
bring-
a big man.
Because you bring grub and food. You just take a
Man,
bite out of Big
you
Man.
guys want to
Oh my
have fun?
God.
Okay, start running. I'm gonna count to 10.
All right.
Hey, you guys can have your gear.
Wow.
You don't get any of my Chef Boyardee. It's okay. It's okay.
Oh my god.
I'm not sure who
Dude.
that is,
Sharing
but
our
okay.
shit.
All
How
this
do I
gear
open
and
the
no
can,
food to
you
use
ask?
it with.
No,
how
we'll
you open
figure
the
it out.
can?
We'll figure it
Yes.
out with your gear. No.
No.
This will be an incredible part of the podcast to look back on.
I
This
honestly,
will be
I've
great.
missed Splatfest. It just brings out this kind of conversation. It's
Just the
great.
feral, just rivalries.
Oh boy. Well, what about you, HMK? What have your thoughts been on Splatoon 3 and all that? You were playing the other day when you rated me, right?
Yeah, I love that game. The game's so fun. Like, and it's like, I'm so glad Splatoon is like, it's at where it's at, and I love all these characters. I've been playing a lot of the story. I got the game kind of late because I was focusing on like work too much, and I got the game like a couple of days after release. And today I just like completely finished the first little island in the campaign. And as much as I love the game, and as much as I'm like back in the sauce, I'm like, oh yeah, getting ready for the Splatfest. Frantically searching my shops every day to make sure I get the good stuff. Like, oh, I'm gonna
Yes,
have to log
sir.
in and all that stuff. But it also brings back another problem that I had with the first two games, and with any type of competitive video game that doesn't rely on KDAs, and that
Uh-oh.
is the people who don't splat their turfs. Like, oh my god, like
Oh,
play
yeah.
the game properly. They're
You
like,
mean the basis?
man, no, they're out.
It
here,
sounds
it's
like you're not
oh, my
having
KDA.
fun.
Point.
No, I'm having fun. Don't worry, I'm having fun. Like they're all
Oh, so you do like fun.
yeah.
Right now.
Stop
Yes,
it.
No. Yes, I do like having fun with my splatting gear that I have on me. Oh my god,
Oh,
man! But like, I'm loving the game. I'm glad that it's back, and like, I felt like a really big part of me was missing when Splatoon 2 like ended, and now Splatoon 3 is here. I'm happy.
That's good, yeah. I felt the same way, like that little gap in your heart. Just like,
Yeah.
Splatoon 2 never went away, but man, I miss the Splatfest and all that.
Yep.
All the other vibes that came along with new Splatoon game. Tris, what do you think? Tell us.
I'm in an interesting place comparatively because the first two Splatoon games I could never really get into. I just wasn't really like I'm not really into shooters, and there just wasn't enough in both of those games before that kept me interested more than like maybe 10 hours. But
It's not a shooter if you play a roller.
God,
I do not like
true.
how the rules here. The rules feel. No, but this is actually the first time that I'm really interested in what's going on, and I'm enjoying it a lot more. I know I have more than 10 hours in it already, and I've played a lot of Salmon Run more than anything else
Oh, it's
with
so
my
good.
friends.
Ooh.
It's so good, and the way it gets you to try other weapons is really nice. But something about the presentation to this game has like finally done it. It has finally made me enjoy Splatoon, and I'm happy about that.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't expected, honestly. Like as this game approached, I wasn't really feeling excited for it, other than knowing I'll get it because my friends are going to get it, and I always at least try to play the newest multiplayer game with my friends if I know a bunch of them are getting it. But this is the first time it's like really kept me interested, and I'm having a good time with it then.
lovely.
Yeah. Well, that's interesting that you mentioned that too. I said this whenever we were playing through the story. It's still spoiler free, by the way. But when I was playing through that and also some other aspects of the game, this game, like, it just feels as if maybe like the production is really big, and it just
Yeah.
feels as if maybe they had like a bigger budget or something to make this game comparatively to the last two.
I think they had
Maybe that's
bigger
just me
budget
and
bigger
like recency
time.
bias. Yeah, bigger time too is a definite one. Like going from 2 years to what, like 5?
So
Something.
it's one thing that like I saw a couple people saying before. Well, when Splatoon 3 got announced, where they were just like, "Oh, this stuff could have just been in Splatoon 2. This just could have been an update." No, no, it couldn't have. This is
No.
like a
Those people don't know
fresh
what they're talking
experience.
about.
It's like it's not like this is like Call of Duty where it's like this could have been a patch. No, this is like a whole new, fresh, updated game, and this is like an incremental change from the last game,
Mhm.
noticeably so. So, yeah, I
This
really
one
like
feels
how
like a
it
sequel.
feels. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, feels like a proper sequel for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yoshiller, Mr. Roller Man, Roll Schiller.
What can I do for you, sir?
What are you thinking about the Splatoon 3, huh?
You asked
liking
me
it?
already. But
Yeah,
I did? I did?
I'll answer again. That game makes me super happy.
Oh, that's right. No, I didn't.
And I was
Yeah,
in a
okay.
commercial with the
Yeah,
first
yeah.
game. And...
All right.
We did.
Never mind then. I don't want to hear it.
Okay. More fun for me, I guess.
Oh, did I miss someone who hasn't gone yet?
I haven't
Me-
gone yet. Also,
Technically,
Oh, okay. Well then, yeah. Raguio. Let's hear it, and then Don can finish us off.
I never played Splatoon in my life. No, I'm kidding.
Oh my god! What are you doing here then? Go
No,
away!
I'm kidding. No, so weirdly enough, due to the fact that I've been working on video so much, I haven't had a time to dive as deep as I wanted to into Splatoon. Like I did finish that. Basically, anytime I've had free, I've just been doing the campaign stuff, which I did finish.
Mhm.
But what I played so far out of multiplayer, I'm like really having a blast. I just honestly like a lot of it has been like the game is. I kind of echo what everyone's saying. You know, the game is mostly a lot of like just incremental updates, really good incremental updates, which I'm really very much enjoying about it. I do wish the game had just one new sort of like big mode, right?
Yeah.
Not a big man mode, although that would be cool. But just like, you know, kind of like how Splatoon 2, the big thing was Salmon Rush, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I guess the big thing this time is what the card game, which as
Yeah.
much as I like it, I do not think it has the same staying power as something like that. I'm glad that Salmon Run now is a mainstay, because I actually do love playing Salmon Run very, very much. I think it's a lot of fun. I think I've only done the giant salmonid once. Can't remember what it was called.
Call
the King
Jose.
Salmon. Oh yeah, yeah.
I have
yeah,
fought him
Jose
like
now.
10 times and haven't beat him once.
Yeah, basically I haven't had much time to like really fill out my catalog. I think I'm only like level 10 maybe.
You gotta
so
get to that
I'm still ways to
98.
go.
It's very important.
Yeah, no, I want that dab, baby. So
Yeah, for real.
yeah, so that's something. We'll see how much I play it right now. Not because I don't want to play it. It's because there's way too much coming out right now. There's like Freedom Planet 2 just came out. There's a new Shovel Knight game that's coming out in like 6 days.
Mhm.
And I love me some Shovel Knight, so I'm very excited about that. There's just a lot coming out right
Yeah.
now, which I guess is a good thing. It's a good problem to have. I just don't have the time to play this much stuff.
Mhm.
But I guess the short of it is I am loving Splooty 3. So I will be playing more Splooty 3.
You know, I've been seeing
Nice.
people say Splatoon, and I'm like,
Split.
Oh, what?
Oh no, I like
That
Splooty 3.
sounds gross.
I like
Does not
spleen.
work as well as Splatoon did.
Spleen. It's
No, it
spleen.
doesn't. A spleen's a good one.
Spleen. Spleen.
guess.
My spleen.
All right,
Yeah.
Don, round us
GG,
out
good game.
before we move on here.
yeah. Yeah. We love Splatoon 3. Obviously, it was already a given that I would buy Splatoon 3 because I bought the freaking Switch.
Yeah.
But it's, yeah, to me, Splatoon 2 was my comfort game because when I fell down, I would play a half hour of Splatoon 2 and fell alive again.
Aw.
Mhm.
It's already has the same feeling for me. Like a lot of the features feel more fun to play around with, especially now that you can have all your people, even in random server lobbies. Like I would say a few days ago, like 7 other people of my friends list joined the same random lobby that I did, and we were just playing matches random against one another. And that's when you're like, oh wow, this feels like an evolution of what came before, because you can do a lot more. You have a lot more freedom in that.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
And you can play the game play the game the way you really want to. Like a lot of the elements they've introduced in this game, like help you to play the game the way you want more. And that's ultimately why I am very happy with it. Like I said, I already played through the entire campaign, 100% completed with all the weapons, and I had a good time doing it.
Madman.
And now I'm solely focusing on multiplayer. Haven't played as much Anarchy Battle, but it's mostly because I'm kind of grinding gear until I feel like confident in it. But I'm slowly feeling like that's coming to an end, and then I'm slowly focusing on a lot more Anarchy Battles.
Oh boy.
But like overall though, it's just been a good time, and I'm just grinding my way like through all the stuff again, and it feels like a new spark to start from a new fresh point and see where you really go from there.
Yeah, that's good. I mean, I totally feel what you said about it too. Like Zelda, Breath of the Wild specifically, and Twilight Princess are my sort of comfort games like that, and it's just I cannot wait to play the next one and kind of feel the same thing you're feeling again. So cozy, so cozy.
Comfort games are great.
Personally, in my experience playing in Splatoon 3, I've been really enjoying it as well. Big surprise. More so than I thought, though, to be frank. There's just a lot of stuff to discuss with this game, and in truth, rather than talk your ears off for the remainder of this cast, I'm just going to go ahead bullet by bullet here and just say that, number one, I think the multiplayer is some of the best the series has to offer. From the small little quality of life improvements, even to some of the bigger changes like the new maps and specials. Reef Slider, my beloved.
Yes, Slider.
It's just great, right? And I think also visually speaking as well, this might be one of the best looking Switch games to date, which makes sense since, as far as I know, this game does run at a higher than average resolution in most cases than almost all Switch games do. So that's great. And I also think that this game's campaign, and no spoilers for anybody freaking out and trying to click off now, is one of the best to date. Now, obviously, we're not going to get into any of the details or anything, but the most I can say is that there are certain events and things that happen throughout that just kept me guessing and subverted my expectations in more ways than one. And it was just a great experience. And I'm not even done with the 100% completion yet, so that adds even more to my excitement to play through the rest of it. And of course, lastly, I am really loving the new format of Splatfests. Now, it not only feels like there's more options for future themes, thanks to the new 3-team dynamic, but it also feels like there's more to discuss about each one because of the new amount of options that you do have. And as much as some, emphasis on some, people might not have liked them, I was a huge fan of the new tricolor matches during the last Splatfest, and honestly, I can't wait to play them again and see Shiver's team once again take the win. Team Gear, let's go! Let's go!
I'm just afraid. I'm just afraid for whatever team is winning by halftime. I'm afraid of that happening because I strongly suspect we'll see yet again. They've got 0 points by the end of it.
Well, who knows?
Yeah,
they did some kind
like the margins. Yeah, the margins during the world premiere were so slim, incredibly slim, that it felt like the team that was in first place halftime was basically given a bad deal.
Yeah.
But see, some of us planned ahead for that and said, I don't want to get to first place.
We improved our games on purpose.
We lost to times 333, and it was totally on purpose.
Yep. It was all strategic.
But no, the tricolors
That's
are
right.
They're a lot of fun. Just that they balance it
Yeah,
better.
for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what changes they end up making. But yeah, the Splatoon 3, it's great. Sounds like everyone else is enjoying it, which is great. Everyone also really loved the Direct, which is great. And I think that pretty much concludes our discussion here, right? So, anyways, thank you guys so much for joining me today for this month's episode. Really appreciate each and every single one of you. I'm going to do my best to make sure that this podcast is run on a monthly basis and gets regularly updated over on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. That way you can listen to these discussions in whichever way you prefer. Anyway, we're pretty much at the end here, but before we go, I wanted to take a second, go around the table one last time, and give each of you 5 seconds to tell us about yourself and where our listeners can find you on the internet, starting with you, Don!
You can find me on Twitter, on Twitch, but I also do stuff for, say, Game Explain stuff. But if you want to follow me on my own channels, that is at Nintendaan. That is NintenDAAN.
David.
My name is David over at RDW. You can find me on Twitch, Twitter, TikTok, IG, and all those good things. Yes.
He said IG. Hey, Raguio.
What's up? You can find me I'm Luis. You can find me on YouTube, HeyRaguio, Twitter, also HeyRaguio, Twitch, also HeyRaguio. And that's it. That's where you can find me. Everywhere else, do not perceive me.
Love the consistency. It makes it very easy. What about you, HMK?
You can find me over at HM Killer on like anything like Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, TikTok, whatever. And yeah, that's it.
Oh, all right, cool. Sam, what about you?
Hi, you can find me as NintendoFanGirl on also everywhere, I'm pretty sure.
Except for Twitch.
Yeah, Twitch, NinFangirl, TikTok, the NintendoFanGirl. People keep taking my
People be
username.
Swear to God.
I get that.
Although, for 45 minutes on Tuesday, you were also known as Farming Sim Fangirl, so I gotta make that distinction as well.
You know, we didn't talk about this too much, but I just want to say, like, the Farming Sims are a rough game to have too many of because it's so hard to keep track of a bunch of farming games.
They're also really long, so having too many of them makes you also lose over your time.
I'm literally actively playing 2 between Ooblets and Disney Dreamlight Valley, and I don't know what I'm going to do as more of them come
Still
out.
need to start Disney Dreamlight Valley.
It's very good.
All right, Tris, what about you?
Ahoy! I'm Tris. You can find me pretty much anywhere at ToonTris or making content over on Game Explain.
Yep, that big old Zelda analysis video is coming soon, right?
It's coming soon. It might be up by the time this goes up, or very soon after, depending on when you get this up. I don't know what the plan is there.
Yeah, sometime in the next couple of days. But I'm excited either way to have gotten a little preview of some of the research you've done. So
Yeah.
very, very pleased with that. Thank you. And lastly, Yoshiller.
Hi.
What's going on over there?
I'm Yoshiller. I wear a Yoshi hat. You can find me on most social media websites as Yoshiller, except for Twitter, where I am real Yoshiller because someone else took my username, George. And one day I'll get it back. But for now, I am Yoshiller. Thank you for having me on the podcast.
Is that his actual name, George?
If you go to twitter.com/Yoshiller, I shouldn't be highlighting this. If you go to twitter.com/Yoshiller, it's just a dude named George.
Giving him some free advertisement.
He gets tagged all the time. That guy hasn't been active in 10 years, but I kind of hope that like every once in a while he just checks his phone. He's like, oh God, why do I have 30 notifications today?
That is a day in the life of Yoshiller. All right. I'm glad we got a little peek into that. All right. Well, with that concludes our discussion. So once again, if you're still watching or listening, thank you for making it this far. And I look forward to hearing you guys' thoughts, comments, and down below. I almost made a great mistake. And, we'll be back next month for more discussion. But for now, there's only one thing left to say before we take off. And that is, of course, as always, I'm alecandstuff. I know how to pronounce words. And I will see you all again real soon. Bye-bye!
Big man!
Team Gear sweep.
Oh, my God.